First Corinthians chapter 8, Paul switches on to a new subject, food offered to idols. He's got to address a lot of different things going on in the church, guys. Sexual immorality, marriage, arguments, disputes, lawsuits. Here we are, food. Now, concerning food offered to idols, we know that, quote, all of us possess knowledge. This knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. Let's remember that one, guys. Love builds up. What does Jesus do? He builds you up. If anyone imagines that he knows something, he does not yet know as he ought to know. But if anyone loves God, he is known by God. How cool is that? Therefore, as to eating of food offered to idols, we know that, quote, an idol has no real existence, end quote, and that, quote, there is no God but one, end quote. For although there may be so-called gods in heaven or on earth, as indeed there are many gods and many lords, yet for us there is one God, the Father, from whom all things and for whom we exist, and one Lord, Jesus Christ, through whom are all things and through whom we exist. Wow. Bold statement from Paul. I love it. So here's what he says in the Message. Okay? This is entitled Freedom, but with Responsibility. The question keeps coming up regarding meat that has been offered to an idol. Should you attend meals where such meat is served or not? Well, we sometimes tend to think we know all we need to know to answer all these types of questions. But sometimes our humble heart can help us more than our proud minds. We never really know enough until we recognize that God alone knows it all. Some people say, quite rightly, that idols have no actual existence, that there's nothing to them, that there is no God other than our one God, that no matter how many of these so-called gods are named and worshipped, they still don't add up to anything but a tall story. They say, again, quite rightly, that there is only one God, the Father, that everything comes from him, and that he wants us to live for him. Also, they say that there is only one Master, Jesus, and that everything is for his sake, including us. Yes, it's true. So after he says, look, knowledge puffs up, but love builds up, and he explains how that is. He says, however, not all possess this knowledge, but some, through former association with idols, eat food as really offered to an idol, and their conscience, being weak, is defiled. See, they can't handle it. They know it's an idol. They know it's not true, but they don't quite possess the knowledge, and their conscience gets weak and defiled. Food will not commend us to God. We are no worse off if we do not eat, and no better off if we do. See, it has no bearing on our relationship to God. But take care that this right of yours does not somehow become a stumbling block to the weak. For if anyone sees you who have knowledge eating in an idol's temple, will he not be encouraged, if his conscience is weak, to eat food offered to idols? And so by your knowledge, this weak person is destroyed, the brother for whom Christ died. Thus, sinning against your brothers and wounding their conscience when it is weak, you sin against Christ. Therefore, if food makes a brother stumble, I will never eat meat, lest I make my brother stumble. Guys, it's pretty simple in this chapter here. The way you behave can influence other Christians who may not be as strong in the faith as you are. They might not know, they might not have this knowledge that there's really no such thing as an idol, that there really are no other gods. But if they're worried about that, and you're sitting in the temple and they're saying this is an idol sacrifice to the, whatever the temple goddess was here, Aphrodite, and you're eating it. In this case, it might have caused them to stumble, and then their conscience is all messed up. Just don't do it. Stay away from it. And that's as simple as he puts it right there. All right. Paul says this. Look, you could go around flaunting your freedom at banquets and honors of idols where the main course is a meat sacrificed to idols. But there's a great danger if somebody's struggling over this issue, someone who looks up to you as knowledgeable and mature, and they see you go into this banquet. Well, that danger is that he'll become confused, and God is not a God of confusion. He might even get mixed up In knowing what's right or wrong, his conscience, right, gets defiled, as he says. Christ gave up his life for that person. Wouldn't you at least be willing to give up a dinner for him? Because as you say, it doesn't really make a difference, right? You know the difference. There's no such thing as an idol or one of these other gods. But it does make a difference if you hurt your friend terribly, risking his eternal ruin. When you hurt your friend, you're hurting Christ. A free meal here and there isn't worth it at the cost of these weak ones. So never go to these idol-tainted meals. If there's any chance, it will trip up one of your brothers or sisters. Pretty simple. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 8. Paul's addressing all the issues here. Thank you for joining, guys.